or boundaries selfish? Certainly can feel that way when we are bumping into the reality of someone else's boundaries. But discovering that boundaries can actually demonstrate deep respect and honor for each other. My first job was at CiCi's Pizza, and everyone had their role. As young guys, we tend to rotate between guest greeting, stocking the pizza, and cutting the pizza. Seniority was given to the cook, who was an older guy and was prone to say, "That's not my problem," whenever we tried to give him something that was outside of his job description. And at the time, it did seem selfish. It seemed inconsiderate. It seemed even lazy. But looking back, I realized he was actually respecting us, that he was not doing us any favors to try to rescue us, but actually doing us a favor by letting us problem solve, by letting us figure out time management, by helping us to rise to our responsibilities in our given position. And if he had just rescued us, we wouldn't have grown in the same way. And I believe those boundaries helped us to discover that. Those boundaries that he set for himself helped us to discover our responsibility, our weight, our worth, and our position. And I believe similar lessons are beneficial for us, certainly in marriage, but throughout our adult relationships. Either we try to take on responsibility for others' emotions, or we try to make them responsible for our emotions. And so when we're disappointed, this is us making our wife responsible for our disappointment, making her responsible for our anger, making her responsible for our frustration. That it's okay to be disappointed, but it's not okay to then try to make her responsible for our emotions. That we are grown men, and ultimately we are responsible for our emotions. And so it's not selfish of her to set a boundary and essentially, hopefully, loving and kindly, but still to say, that's not my problem. For us to then figure out how to regulate our own emotions, that's not selfish for her to set that boundary. That is helpful for us to be able to be forced to figure out, okay, what do we do with our intense feelings? Whether that is anger or frustration or disappointment, again, it's okay to experience those emotions. It's not okay then to try to make others responsible for those emotions. And it's helpful for others then to put a boundary there for us. And that's not being selfish when they do that. And it's not being selfish when we do that for them. If others try to make us responsible for their emotions, it's helpful for us to say, again, in so many words, that's not my problem. Again, we can be kind and gentle and loving in setting that boundary, but it's still a boundary all the same. That some things are our responsibility to own and other things are not. And it's helpful to know what is mine to own and what is not mine to own. And I can freely allow others to own their responsibility, their emotions. And this is not, again, being dismissive of them. In some ways, this is how I respect them. This is how I honor them, because I'm treating them as an adult who are able to manage and regulate themselves, who are able to stand on their own 2 feet and regulate their own emotions. If this resonates with you, then like and subscribe so we can continue this conversation on how we can rise and reign as kingdom men throughout our life and relationships. In the meantime, check out this next video on the lie of happy wife, happy life, and why I believe our duty is to love our wife and not simply make her happy.